legendary Helios 44-2. A lens so vintage, so swirly, so Russian, that it makes everything look like an artsy dream sequence. But can you put it on your iPhone? Technically, no, unless you want to duct tape it and pray for the best. Please don't. But what if I told you can get that iconic swirly bokeh look on any footage with just a little bit of Davinci Resolve magic? First, the swirly bokeh. Instead of just blurring the background, the Helios turns it into this dreamy, vortex-like effect, like your subject is the center of the universe. Then, we've got the sharp center and soft edges. The middle of the frame, crisp, but as you move outward, everything starts getting softer, dreamier, almost painterly. And finally, that glowy highlight bloom. It's got this beautiful way of scattering light, making everything look cinematic, a little nostalgic, and just plain cool. We're going to recreate all of that in Davinci Resolve without breaking out a single screwdriver or vintage lens adapter. Let's do it. First, bring your footage into the timeline. Pick something where your subject really stands out from the background, because that depth is what's going to sell this effect. Once it's in, head over to the color page. This is where the magic happens. Okay, now instead of manually masking things, because who has time for that, we're going to let Davinci do the heavy lifting with the depth map effect. So, over in the OpenFX panel, just search for depth map and drop it onto your first node. Easy. Now, turn on the preview. What you'll see is this black and white mask, where white represents the areas in focus and black is the background. Right now, it might not look perfect, but don't worry, we'll tweak it. Go ahead and adjust the settings until your subject is fully in focus and the background fades away. Basically, we're telling Davinci, hey, this is the important part. Blur everything else. Once that's looking good, turn off the preview and, super important, invert the depth map. Why? Because right now it's affecting the subject and we actually want to blur the background instead. If you forget this step, you'll end up with a beautifully sharp background and a blurry face, which is not the vibe we're going for unless you want to look like a dream sequence from a soap opera. Now that we've got the depth sorted, it's time for the signature Helios swirl, and we're going to cheat this effect using radial blur. So we need another node. Just add a new serial node. Now grab the radial blur effect and drop it onto this node. What this does is create that beautiful circular motion blur that mimics the way the Helios warps light. But here's the trick. We don't want this to apply everywhere. That's where our depth map comes in. Take the alpha output from the depth map node and connect it to the alpha input of this new node. What this does is isolate the blur to just the background, leaving our subject nice and sharp in the center. Now, tweak the settings. You don't want to go too crazy with it, subtle is key. If it looks like a bad motion blur effect, dial it back. The real Helios look is more of a gentle swirl, not a tornado. Alright, final touch. The glow. This is what gives that dreamy vintage film look. So, just like before, add in another serial node. Then go find the glow effect and drop it on there. Now, same deal. Take the depth map's alpha output and connect it to the alpha input of this node. That way, the glow only applies to the background, not the subject. At this point, you can really dial in the look. Want a soft, subtle glow? Lower the intensity. Want it to feel like an old-school film lens, blooming the highlights just a bit? Raise it up. Just don't overdo it. And just like that, you're done.